When we fall in love, we often think that we are choosing the adult version of our partner. You know, the person with a career, dreams, values, and even a certain look. Hmm? But once we are in a long-term relationship, we begin to meet a deeper part of them, and that is their inner child. This is the part of them that is shaped by their upbringing, their unmet needs, their childhood wounds, their earliest experiences of love, trust, and safety. Hmm? And this part shows up in marriage far more often than we expect. You know, our partner's inner child is the emotional core. You know, it is the one who gets triggered. It's the one who gets triggered when they feel ignored, reacts defensively when they feel unsafe, craves validation, craves playfulness, and even reassurance. You know, no matter how mature someone looks on the outside, the emotional responses are often rooted in what they learned or even lacked as a child. It is marriages that exposes childhood patterns, because living in close proximity brings out the rawest part of a person. If they had emotionally unavailable parents, they might withdraw when things get hard. If they grew up in chaos, they might overreact to small conflicts. You know, if they were overpraised, then they might struggle with criticism. This is why marriage is often described as a mirror, because it reflects not just who they are now, but who they were then. You know, loving someone means loving their inner child. If you marry someone only for their adult persona, their job, their body, their personality, but cannot nurture or even accept their inner child, then you will constantly clash. True intimacy means being patient with their triggers, offering safety when they regress, encouraging their healing, not punishing them for their wounds. This doesn't mean becoming their therapist, but it does mean holding space for their growth. You know, and this truth cuts both ways. Your inner child is also in the marriage, with your needs, with your wounds, and even patterns. The conflicts you face often aren't two adults fighting. They are two inner children reacting to each other's pain. Being aware of this allows both partners to approach conflict with compassion rather than ego. Psychologically, understanding the inner child helps break toxic cycles. You stop taking things personally and start seeing where reactions really come from. When you go to spiritually, marriages become a space of mutual healing. A partnership where both souls can grow beyond the limitations of their childhood experiences. You know, in short, you don't just marry an adult. You marry every version of them, especially the child who still lives inside them. You know, your marriage will thrive when you learn to love, when you learn to nurture and respect that part of them, while doing the same for your own inner child. My people, heal. Heal.